What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 17th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the podcast, a non-Eagles stress-free Sunday. Before we get into the episode, let's do a little quick housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont at Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Spread the word. Continue to let's help grow this thing. Lots of good things on the horizon. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame Heritage Collection is available online. It's a collection of all of the memorabilia and artifacts that the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame has. The link to that is in the description. The full induction ceremony is now available as well. I put a link to that in the description, so go check that out. Today is our official kickoff of the gift and fundraiser. Like I said earlier this week, I started a little early just because I got antsy. We've already blown away what we raised last year for the gift cards, and today is the first official day, so I am ecstatic. Give whatever you can. Every little bit helps, even if it's $5, $10, $25, whatever you can. Let's help make some holiday magic for our friends and neighbors, benefiting the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. We're going to continue the fundraiser for the gift cards for 2 weeks, and then we'll shift gears December 1st to go to the reverse advent calendar to get some much-needed supplies. But I can't stress it enough. I am beyond thankful for the donations so far. We've already beat the number from last year. I set a very lofty goal, but I think we certainly can get there. So thank you in advance, and whatever you can give, every little bit helps, and I appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. And with that, we're shifting gears from the other what happened on this day in Philly sports history to just what we're thankful for in Philly sports. So I'm not going to do a whole segment on it. I'll just kind of weave it in where it seems fit. So stay tuned for that for today's episode. But we're going to talk about what we're thankful for. But I certainly am thankful for all of you out there listening. I truly, truly appreciate it. So let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, can the Sixers still make the playoffs? 57% of you said no. It was very split. I had a lot of people talking about just the state of the Eastern Conference and how the Sixers will be fine if they can get some chemistry. Lots of folks talked about that chemistry as well. And that's the one thing I'm concerned about because Joe just looks out of shape. And if they are going to be managing his workload, I kind of question how long is it going to take him to get in shape, and is that going to impact the chemistry? I will say Jarrett McCain has been a very bright spot, the early front runner for the Rookie of the Year. Kind of forced into some playing time, and it looks like we got ourselves a player. So the future is bright, but we got to get the chemistry and everything worked out. They're in Miami tomorrow night. Hopefully Joe and Paul George play. He had a couple days off, so hopefully both of them should be able to go tomorrow against our old pal Jimmy Butler in Miami. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. There will be another one later in the show. The Back to the Future voice and text line is open for anything you have on your chest, Philly sports related, 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Everything Philly sports is fair game, including the Flyers. What a game for the Flyers last night. I was able to catch this end of the second and the third period of this last night. I went out to dinner with a group of friends. Went to, don't know if you guys ever have done this. It was first time ever doing this. It's just a little side note here. We went to a Korean barbecue place, and it was interesting to cook your own food and just, I don't know. Some good food, though. Good time. But I was able to catch the second and third period for that. I don't know. I was kind of hesitant because I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I going to a place where I have to cook my own food? But it actually was pretty good. Lots of different options and things like that. But that's a side note. Back to the Flyers. 5-2 win over the Sabres at the Wells Fargo Center. Matvei Michkov with 2 assists. He's been lights out since he came back from his little 2-game benching. Travis Konecny added 2 goals. Ivan Fedotov got the start in goal. He was outstanding once again, saving 23. Maybe we have a little bit of a luxury here that we're not used to having with the Flyers, and we have two solid goaltenders. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but that's 2 or 3 straight good starts in a row for Fedotov. Flyers, though, 3 straight wins. They've won 7 of their last 11. Are over 85 points or 83 points. I forget the exact number we got. Starting to look good, and they're putting it together. They have a big test tomorrow when Colorado comes to the Wells Fargo Center. But Flyers 5-2 over the Sabres. Michkov mania is running wild. What this guy can do is just ridiculous, though. Love it. But we'll see what they can do against an upper echelon team from the Western Conference tomorrow against the Avs. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Good football episode this week, and I think Topher finally has waved the white flag with Daniel Jones, so go check that out wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then, of course, go to Philly Goat. It's never too early to start your Christmas shopping. They have the NFC East parody t-shirts, which are awesome. The partnership with the cooler bags from Varsity Cooler, the Eagle stuff, the Fly, which I just realized that the Fly t-shirt that I wear, they have in a green hoodie like that. It's awesome. They have the Mega John. You name it, they got it. I was talking with my mom yesterday. She's still interested in the John Kruk is my spirit animal. You can get that, and proceeds of that get donated to charity as well. But just go to Philly Goat, check it out. You won't be disappointed. Be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, some Eagles news. I said it's a stress-free day, but I'm going to give you some teams that to root for today that might or may not help the Eagles out with certain things. And some of these people were split on, so I'm just going to give you what I feel we should be rooting for. But first, if you notice, I'm wearing my Temple hat. Temple with a good win yesterday down at the Link. However, their kicker, Maddox Trujillo, is a pretty good kicker. Very much in the same ilk as Elliott. And he struggled yesterday at the Link too. So again, I floated out a conspiracy theory yesterday that maybe Nick Sirianni knew something was wrong with Jake Elliott, and that's why he's been not using him as much. I'm going to float out another one. Maybe we have a turf issue at Lincoln Financial Field because Maddox Trujillo, the 2 misses he made, like he made a couple 50-yarders, but missed a couple easy ones. So maybe there's something with the turf, or I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Everybody was getting on Jake Elliott, but Temple's usually reliable kicker struggled yesterday too. They went into overtime, but they shouldn't have gone into overtime. So maybe there's something more going on than what we are aware of. Again, this is purely speculation. I don't know anything. I'm just saying, seems odd to usually sure-footed kickers have struggled this week down at the Link. So we'll see. And I wanted to mention this too. I know we put the bow on Washington, but I did see an interview with Terry McLaurin, who said that playing against Quinyon Mitchell, he doesn't play like a rookie. He's a good corner. And it's nice that it was the first time I really heard somebody come out and say, no, this dude is pretty good. So we got ourselves, I think, a steal in the draft. Hopefully he will continue to play well. I would think he has to be the front runner for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But good to hear that out of Terry McLaurin's mouth. All right, so who are we rooting for today? Vikings are taking on the Titans. And I went back and forth on this because while it would be nice to have all of the teams that are close to the Eagles lose, I think based on some of the tiebreakers and everything, it's probably better for the Vikings to win. But I would not be upset if you rooted for the Titans to kind of put some distance between the Eagles and their opponents because, yes, they've won 6 in a row. Are they going to win out? Probably not. So we want to have as much cushion as possible. So that one I couldn't really come to a consensus. So either way, sometimes I feel like the Vikings winning would help the Eagles in the standing somewhat too, with Green Bay and some of the other teams, and hopefully knocking down like teams that like the Niners and things like that. And would also help out the Eagles from a draft pick position with the Giants and Cowboys struggling this year. But it's kind of one of those things either way. Same deal with the Bears and the Packers. I think we root for the Bears. Again, you want to just try to get some distance between some of those teams. The Eagles do have the tiebreaker over the Packers, but any kind of distance you can put with those teams is good. Rooting for the Jags. Old Dougie P to beat the Lions today. Likely not going to happen, but if Dougie P could rally those troops with a backup quarterback, I gladly would take it, even if that backup quarterback does have starting experience in Mac Jones. I think we want to root for the Rams over the Patriots, though. The Rams lost on last week, and if they lose this week, especially to the Patriots, they're coming into that game next week, losing 2 straight, and they're kind of a little bit more hungry. So I think we want to root for the Rams today, so they're not coming in as a desperate, or coming into that game next week as a desperate team. Obviously, we want the Seahawks over the Niners. Again, the Niners have kind of taken over one of the top 3 hated rivals for the Eagles. So just to see the Niners lose would be great. Would like Christian McCaffrey to have himself a pretty good game, though, because I need him for fantasy. But that's beside the point. I saw some people that were back and forth on this one. I'm rooting for the Broncos to take out the Falcons, only because the Falcons did beat the Eagles. So, again, it goes back to putting some distance between them. I know some people disagree with that because of Tampa Bay. And, yes, we don't want Tampa Bay in the playoffs. However, we got to make sure we get in. I think it's still a little early to be worrying about playoff matchups. So the more distance we can put in, because God forbid if the Eagles do go through a slump, you want to have a little bit of a cushion to fall back on. I'm rooting for the Bills over the Chiefs just because I'm sick of the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are a fraudulent, undefeated team right now. I think they get exposed today up in Buffalo. And again, just because I'm sick of the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Patrick Mahomes, all of them. Sick of it. So let's go Bills. Tomorrow night, as much as we don't necessarily want them to get a draft pick, got to root for the Texans to just kind of put the final nail in the Cowboys' coffin, just strictly for entertainment purposes, to see Jerry Jones' head explode. So got to root for the Texans, right? Even though it probably would be better from a draft positioning thing for the Cowboys to win. I just want to see that final nail in the coffin and just see Jerry's head explode. Big game in the AFC North, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. And I think the Eagles have both of these teams, so it should be an entertaining and good game to watch. I don't think it really matters at this point who wins. But a couple good games on the slate today. So my question of the day, I'm going to ask you. You have Pittsburgh, Baltimore at 1, KC, Buffalo at 4. Is this a day where you'll watch a full NFL game, or is it red zone all the way? 267-495-8531, that'll get you in. I think some of the other games are slop. I might be watching both of those games, the full games. But let me know what you're doing. Are you watching full games today, or are you watching the red zone? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that, anything else Philly sports related off your chest. Again, it's stress-free, so it doesn't matter which way you go. But I am going to talk about what we're thankful for. And the first thing right now, as a Philadelphia sports fan, that I am thankful for today, Saquon Barkley. And where would we be without Saquon? And I know it could be hyperbole, but look at what he's done. And just the way he's able to take over games late in the third and fourth quarter and break those long runs and kind of break the back of their opponent. He's been everything we could have hoped for and more. Certainly worth the money. He's currently, as of right now, this minute, leading the NFL in rushing, 17 yards ahead of Derrick Henry. They have the game still yet to play for Week 11. But he leads the league in total yards from scrimmage. Has 10 total touchdowns. And again, he's been everything we could have ever imagined and more. Certainly, I would say the MVP of this team, maybe offensively anyway. And then you have you could make arguments for defense, but I think Saquon is the Eagles MVP this year, and I am thankful for that. So as we talked about yesterday, thank you, Giants. Thank you. We're very thankful for Saquon Barkley. Let me know your thoughts on that too. Are you thankful for Saquon Barkley? I don't think there's anyone in the Philadelphia region who would say no. So today, we're thankful for you, Saquon Barkley. And thank you, Giants. All right, finally today, it's been a busy week in this day in Philly sports history for Donovan McNabb. Once again, we're going to go back to our old pal, number 5. On this day in 2002, the Eagles beat the Cardinals 38-14 at the Vet to move to 7-3. The win came at a cost, though. On the third play of the game, McNabb was sacked, suffered a broken fibula. Now, to his credit, he stayed in the game. Not only was he hobbled, but he stayed in the game, went 20 for 25, threw for 255 yards and 4 touchdowns. Donovan had one of the most gutsy, courageous, and quite frankly, one of his best statistical passing days of his career on a broken leg. And that's why he's the greatest of all time in Eagles history as quarterback. Coy Detmer was the backup. If you remember that season, Coy came in the next week on Monday Night Football. The legend of Coy Detmer beat the 49ers. That's when he took his whip out and started whipping everything. And then he got hurt. I think he separated his shoulder. It was one of the most dramatic injuries I've ever seen. He literally did the thing where he was like writhing in pain, doing circles on the ground. So things were not looking good. AJ Philly came in, and we were just like, let's just keep this thing afloat and make the playoffs. AJ came in, went 4-1 down the stretch. The Eagles did get the number 1 seed. They would have McNabb back for the playoffs. This often gets overlooked. He didn't play particularly well in that Atlanta game, and we know what happened in the Tampa Bay NFC Championship game. So it could have been attributed to the injury and coming back off a broken leg and being out, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and not being able to play. Maybe. But on this day in 2002, Donovan McNabb, with one of the gutsiest performances I've ever seen, I remember being there live for this, beat the Cardinals at the Vet on a broken leg, throwing 4 touchdown passes as the Eagles improved to 7-3. So that number 5, that is why he's the GOAT. And that happened on this day in 2002. And that concludes a busy week for Donovan McNabb in Philly sports history. Let me know your thoughts on if you're watching a full game today, you're going to watch the Red Zone, or even going to watch football. Is it a day you're going to do something with your family? Maybe your wife is making you get out the Christmas decorations. Who knows? There's plenty of leaves out there, too. Not looking forward to that. But let me know what you're watching today. Let me know who you're rooting for. Did I get it wrong? Would you prefer rooting for another team? All of that is fair game on the Back to the Future voice and text line. But it's a stress-free day of football. These are the best kinds. Just sit back, kick your feet up, and watch what happens. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 17th, 2024. Don't forget to donate to the Gift and Food Drive. It is open. We've already exceeded last year's total. Let's hit our goal. I said it lofty, but I think we can reach it. All the information you need is in the description. Go have yourselves a Sunday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.